Have you ever wondered why your job applications are not getting the results that you deserve? Or have you been trying to get the desired job role from a long time now but not getting the positive results? If all this is in your case as well, then this video can be a game changer for you, because in this video I'm going to share the biggest mistakes that you might be making while sending out your job applications, and also the strategies by which you can avoid these mistakes. So hello everyone, my name is Swati and welcome to 𝗟𝗶𝗵𝗁, a place where we explore the exciting world of human resource management. So watch this video till end, because by the end of this video, you will be armed with the knowledge to turbocharge your job application and land to your dream job. Here is the list of 5 common mistakes you must be making while applying for any job. Let's understand how you can avoid them. So the biggest and the most common mistake done by maximum job seekers is that they use the same resume for each application or each vacancy that they apply for. Even though you apply to many similar positions, but you need to understand that no two jobs are exactly the same. So the best way to land your application into an interview process is by tailoring your CV for each application. This process may include by swapping out some of your skills mentioned in your skill or core competency section of your CV, or by reordering your accomplishments under a past role to emphasize relevant work examples, or changing some of the wordings of your CV to match the phrases found in a particular job advert. So if you are unsure how to properly customize your CV for a role, start by taking a closer look at the job description and requirements to identify the phrases or terms that are repeatedly mentioned. These probably belong to your CV if they speak to your skills and experience. Also take a note of what hard and soft skills are considered most important for that job. Second mistake made by the job seekers is that they prepare a resume which describes about their duties and responsibilities and not about the values that they have given to the organization. Because employers want to see more than a timeline of your education and experience. They want your CV to explain why you are qualified for the job that you are applying for. So instead of only mentioning about your responsibilities in your resume, explain what you have achieved or how you have contributed to your department while performing your duties. In other words, offer a proof of your qualification by including specific examples, figures, or case studies that illustrate your abilities. Wherever possible, quantify your contributions and achievements to show the value that you have created for your past employers. Remember, your CV is not the place to be modest. It is the great opportunity for you to proudly brag about the great things that you have achieved at your position. Even if the roles that you previously held didn't come with much responsibility, you can still demonstrate that you were good at what you did. Quantifying your work can help the reader appreciate the depth of your experience and value that you can bring to an organization. Third mistake seems to be silly, but still many job seekers unknowingly commit this mistake and submit their application with some kind of typing error or any kind of spelling mistake in their job application. So don't let these kind of silly mistakes hurt your chances of landing a job. You can avoid these mistakes by just taking few extra minutes to proofread your application. You can start this by making a copy of your CV file and changing the font to something other than what you plan to use for your final application, and then printing it out. Printing, because our brain reads the words in paper more carefully than what we read on the screen. Read your application aloud to pick up any awkward phrases or repetitive language that you need to adjust. Fourth mistake done by job seekers is of not preparing the ATS friendly resume. because this recruitment technology analyzes and organizes a company's online application to filter out the least qualified candidates. So to ensure that your resume is ATS friendly, you can use a simple format that utilizes clearly marked headers and that does not include any images or unusual fonts. If you plan to choose a CV design that contains columns, opt for the one that places the skinny column on the left side of the document, because unfortunately CVs with right hand column do not successfully pass through the ATS process. So most importantly, customize your CV with relevant keywords found in the job advert. Take a second look at the job description to identify which keyword and phrases are frequently used throughout the job advert and speak to the job requirements. Incorporate these terms as they appear in the job description throughout your resume. Fifth mistake committed by the job seekers is that they forget about communicating their goals, experience and skills through the online mode. This is a mistake because nowadays having a well-written resume is not enough if you want to impress your employers, because recruiters do check your online brand along with the resume that you have provided to them. So what you can do for this, you can Google your name as it appears in your resume and see what kind of results pop up. Then make a list of all the social media platforms or the job boards where you wish to set up an account. If you plan to use an account which reflects a part of your job search effort, then you need to make sure that all the information on those platforms are updated, and if any kind of irrelevant or not required information is there, then you need to hide or remove that information from your profile. That's all in this video. I hope by now you must be clear with the next step you need to follow to land with your dream job. All the best for your next job hunt. Please like, share and subscribe this video and get connected with HR Administ.